Sanbudan Dumlang, hello, it's me Simply Sfisa, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're not yet subscribed, do the right thing, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. As you can tell with the title, today we're going to be discussing the final episodes of The Boyfriend. The Boyfriend, which I'm sure if you click on this video, you know what it is, but in case you don't and you just happen to stumble upon this video, The Boyfriend is a same-sex dating reality show set in Japan, basically following 9 men in this place called the Green Room, and we go on their personal journeys as well as their... Sorry, I got distracted. I ordered food, so it's on its way. So a message just came through. Where was I? Basically, yeah, the Green Room, 9 men falling in love, following their journey, and yeah, without further ado, let us get right into it. So, first of all, let's just address the fact that by the time this video comes out, it'll be like 3 weeks since The Boyfriend ended. Normally, I'd upload a video like within a week of the episodes aired, but due to just work being a lot for me, like I've just been tired and drained. Like literally, I actually tried to film this video earlier. I'll maybe insert a clip so you guys can see. Ikkyo's good intentions backfire. As the boys cool down, a surprise announcement leaves the doors in tears. So, okay, no, this isn't working. Where I was literally falling asleep. And I was like, you know what, this isn't working. Let's just rest. Let's wait for a day where I'm properly rested, properly charged up, and have the right energy to do this video justice. So without further ado, let us get into it. So by now, like I'm not going to recap the first 8 episodes. Like you can watch my previous video for that. We're just going to continue. I mean, at this point of the show, Dai and Shun seem straight for endgame, right? It seems like they're definitely going to end up together. Ryota and Gensei, you know, it's not make sure, you know, before heading into episode 8 and 9, as well as Eren and Kazuto, you know, those are the only pairs that are somewhat, you know, left that we're going to explore. So in episode 9, right, Gensei and Taehyun talks, right? I think Taehyun, although he hasn't had any real romantic prospect on the show, he's been on this personal journey of really finding himself, discovering himself, and discussing having to come out to his parents. And him and Gensei talk, and he talks about, you know, how he appreciates everyone sharing the experiences with him. And Gensei even, you know, it also has some encouraging words to him, being like, you know what, you're on the right path, you're doing nothing wrong. Gensei also opens up about his situation with Ryota, stating that he had feelings for Ryota but wasn't sure how to communicate them, and is unsure of how things were with Ryota. Because I mean, at this point, it's still very clear that Ryota has feelings for Kazuto, you know. And it's at this point where Gensei realizes that his feelings are unreciprocated. Girl, what is going on today? So many, like, I don't know, I just heard a noise outside. So many distractions, but we move. So Gensei makes the decision to leave the Green Room, which is very emotional for everyone. You know, I mean, someone else sort of wished that maybe he could have stayed until the end, because like it was almost the end. But I can imagine, you know, at this point, he basically has to nurse a broken heart. He was like, I did everything I could. I came, you know, on the show. Y'all heard that too, right? What is actually going on today? I don't even know how I'm gonna edit this, because what the hell? But yeah, Gensei is left. Gensei and Ryota, not happening. Ryota is still hung up on Kazuto. On to Dai and Shun, who once again are arguing. Once again, there is beef, and Ikkyo tries to help. He's like, let me talk to Shun, and that Dai is not happy with that at all. And it's like, you know, even though Ikkyo was like, you know what, his intentions were good, like my literal first thought during that scene was like, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Sure, you meant well, but also you could have minded your business. Like he should have minded his business. I can understand Dai's frustration, you know. I think also another fear that Dai had is that maybe all this attention was going to scare Shun off, you know, because he probably tried to talk to Shun when also he himself was ready, because he himself, Dai, was also getting quite frustrated with Shun, you know. But eventually, you know, they do sit down, they have a conversation, and even Dai sets boundaries about how you know what, I'm not always going to be chasing after you like this, you know. But they resolve the issue. And in the end, basically, episode 9, everyone leaves. Alan and Kazuto at this point, they, Alan, Kazuto expresses that, he still wants to continue his relationship with Alan, but, we can say the pace isn't quite as, what can I say? If you compare him to Diane Shun at this point are in love or whatever. Alan Kazuto, like Kazuto is clearly still in the process of figuring out his feelings, but he's like, you know what? I feel very comfortable with you, so I still want to continue exploring this. So they leave together, right? Diane Shun in the last episode basically confessed their feelings for each other, and they go back to the place where Shun had suggested they kiss, but then Shun was like, nah, let's not kiss now, and they kiss, and that's how it ends. And okay, so this is editor's fee coming in. So I'm realizing that a key thing that I forgot to mention, not the lighting being better now than the when I was filming the video. Gosh, this video, the weapons were prospering in me trying to get this video out. I swear. But anyways, I realized I forgot to mention that Ikkyo confesses to Dai that he has feelings for Dai, and that's another reason why I felt like Ikkyo's interference was a little bit shady. Like, I get it, you have a special, you care about Dai or whatever, but like, why were you that bothered and pressed, But Dai being true to Shin, Dai's like, look, I admit when we first met, the vibes were giving, there was some chemistry, but I decided to focus on my relationship with Shun. And yeah, that is basically where episode 9 and 10 ends off. And then now we're going to go into where I talk about, the reunion, as well as my thoughts on the cast members and their journeys so far throughout the show and where they ended up. So we're left wondering, like, okay, do Diane Shin make it past the show? What happens to Alan and Kazuto? But we're not left wondering for long, because a few days later on Netflix I stumbled upon the live called a live where there was basically like a reunion for the show, which honestly I feel like Netflix did not market properly. Like, I think if it was not recommended to me on YouTube, I wouldn't have even known this existed. But anyways, on the live, everyone comes back, has a bit of a catch up. We find out that though Alan and Kazuto left together and things were unclear at the time, they didn't make it as a couple. They didn't make it as a couple, and they remain close friends, though they don't reveal exactly what happened between them. And you know what? Fair. That is their business, Since they've been in the green room, they've both gotten dates with different people, but they're still both single. Daishun, I feel like everyone is just like, I'm just gonna talk about Daishun now because I feel like that's like the main event. Not that I care any less about anyone else, but like Daishun reveal at the reunion that they're still together. Dai has even introduced Shun to his friends and family. Dai's family loves Shun, and they've been living with Dai's parents for a couple months. So clearly, things are serious. Things are serious. Like, living with their parents, like, they are serious. They're in love, and they've had challenges because of their different personalities. They argue, but clearly, like, their love for each other has grown only stronger. And even Shin as an individual, I think we have to also commend him. He's really become, like, his journey from the beginning of the show towards now, like, he's really become more open-minded, not as closed off, and I'm sure even his communication skills has bettered. I've seen a lot of TikToks, people talking about how people went from being initially annoyed with Shun, but then slowly realized that, wait, actually, maybe Shun and I have a lot in common. And that was literally me. Like, if you've been watching my videos, I've literally said, like, Shun reminds me a lot of myself. And so seeing Shun's journey has also been a bit of like an eye-opener for myself in areas in which I, perhaps in past relationships, could have done better, but will definitely do better for in new, like, going forward. Taehyun, as I already mentioned, like, he did not leave with anyone. He did not, have any romantic prospects. I mean, there was a moment where he had an inkling of feelings for Kazuto, but nothing really came from that. But I think he gained the most from this experience out of everyone else. Now, he did mention on the reunion that, part of the challenges he faces that Japanese is not his native language. So the first half he was just trying to basically, like, I can imagine, like, it's not native language, I have to speak this language, trying to sort of make sense of the whole situation. So by the time he actually got a handle of what's going on, like, people were already coupled up, paired up, and the train had left the station. But he reveals that, he has since come out to his parents, and the response was amazing, and he's still looking good. He's looking good, so I don't think things will be looking bad for him. And in fact, I think dating might actually be even better for him now, because obviously I don't know this man, right? But it's possible that perhaps, some of his reservations or fears regarding coming out to his parents, maybe that could have been a hindrance in him possibly like, opening himself up to the relationship. So I'm hoping that, now that things will be looking, I have no doubt actually things will be looking good for him. Ryoto admits that direct communication was a challenge in the show, and he's now focused on his modeling, seems to be killing it from images of fashion shows, and he appreciates the show taught him how to communicate more openly. I mean, we saw him go from initially, liking Shun, and then realized, maybe we're friends, and then, his experience with his feelings for Kazuto, and actually, being very open about it, speaking about it, even though in the end he got rejected. And Gensei also, I mean, since the show, I mean, Gensei initially misread the situation with Ryota, fell in love with Ryota, or developed feelings. That's not throw the L word around. But Gensei also is someone who came out of his shell through the show. And since then, he said, he's been going back and forth between Taiwan and Japan, and he's surprised by actually the amount of attention he's been getting from worldwide fans. And so he's considering that, maybe the world is his oyster, and he'll consider dating outside. Usak, it was back. It was good to see Usak again. I was low-key wishing Usak and Kazuto will somehow get back together, but due to his work schedule, he's a go-go dancer, had to travel the world, so he says it does take up a lot of his time. But I think he's also someone who also had a really great journey, like personally, like when he left the show, he discovered something new about himself. He managed to open himself up, and love that for him. And then the last cast member is Ikkyo. Now, Ikkyo, I don't really have much to say about Ikkyo because I feel like his time on the show was the shortest. I mean, okay, as well as Usak. So I didn't really get much. There's not really much we can glean from him. But I mean, he did reveal in the reunion that, he's really passionate about queer issues, especially people struggling with their sexuality. Like, seems like a great guy. Beautiful gowns, like, no hard feelings. My overall thoughts on the show, right? The takeaway from the boyfriend night is that the green room and other participants' lives were improved from the show, which I think is a welcome refresher from a lot of reality TV, which tends to be like trashy, messy. I feel like a lot of dating reality shows, like, people go off the show worse off than how they started. I'm thinking back to I remember someone on Love is Blind season 3, I can't remember her name right now, but she saw about how, the experience that completely shattered her self-esteem, like the person she was partnered with. They learned a lot and they became better people from this experience, and love that from them. Some people found friendship. I mean, they all found community themselves and each other. I feel like in the end everyone won, even though only one couple came out of the show. It was wholesome and refreshing, and I just found myself rooting for everyone. I think also there are some key lessons that we can learn from the show when it comes to dating. I think first of all, slow is the way to go. I think the problem with some other dating shows is like they're just in a hurry to get people together, like Love is Blind. Like, literally, you to marry this person within like a month of knowing them. The ultimatum, you have like 6 weeks until to decide whether to continue this relationship or start a new relationship. So I think the fact that this was just purely a show where you get to meet new people and you take it at your own pace, I think that really helped them to not rush into messy relationships, messy entanglements. But also it did help, for example, Alan Kazu, they realized, even though there's this chemistry and we might, vibe off each other, relationship isn't going to work for us. But I think also the pacing helped Dai and Shun to be able to resolve any of the issues that they came up with. Another key takeaway is that communication is so important. I think they all learned the importance of communication, and I think their communication skills were a lot better for it. I think I can also learn a lot about communication from, I mean, it's not easy to sit someone down and to tell them straight up that, like, how you feel, whether it's, expressing your vulnerability, like expressing how you feel about them, or it's having to reject someone. I feel like we live in a culture where people just ghost you, where people, want to be mysterious, want to be aloof. But, communication is very important. I think the third takeaway is the importance of friendship and community. I think rather than fixating or focusing on finding romantic love or having, I mean, nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong with maybe having a good time, not necessarily being with someone for a long time. But I really love the focus, the emphasis on friendship, community. I mean, even though they probably like they're living miles away from each other, I feel like there's no doubt that they're still in touch. There's no doubt that they've like the bonds that they formed, even if they might not see each other as often as they do on the show, they'll carry for a lifetime. These are memories for a lifetime. So lastly, yeah, I'm hopeful we get a second season of The Boyfriend and we get more dating shows like this. I think the only other dating show that I can think of off the top of my head that is like wholesome like this is A Love on the Spectrum. That's also a really nice, cute, wholesome dating show. I feel like most of the dating shows out there are just a mess. And look, I love mess, like there's a time and place for messy, trashy reality TV. But it's good to also get something that just makes you feel good and warm inside, So I'm hopeful that we get another season of The Boyfriend. Actually, I wouldn't mind if they do like other franchises of The Boyfriend. I mean, seeing the success of The Boyfriend, not just I'm imagining in Japan, but like internationally, I feel like it's got such a huge global audience. I think there's huge potential for them to do other franchises in other countries of The Boyfriend. I think that would be very interesting to see. I think, yeah, that is pretty much it on The Boyfriend. Like, I'm sad that this journey is over. Like, I wish there was more that I can say, but I feel like I've said everything I can about the show, even in like previous videos, because I don't want to repeat myself. So if you want to do a deep dive, do head back, check out my previous videos on this show. Next up, I'm thinking of watching His Man 3 season 3. Like, I've watched His Man season 1 and season 2 when they aired. His Man season 3 was currently airing. I believe it's done airing by now. So I'm thinking maybe watching that and then gonna figure out an upload schedule of like how many episodes I'll discuss in a video. If you have any other show recommendations, please do leave them in the comments down below. Feel free to also reach out to me on social media at Simply Sfiso on all platforms. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. I know this is a rough video to get out. First of all, like to actually find time to sit down and film was such a challenge for me, and even while filming there are just so many distractions. So thank you so much for putting up with me and for all the love and support. And yeah, also do check out my podcast. Actually, the next podcast episode we'll be talking about dating, relationships, finding community, based off my own personal experiences. So if you want to check that out, do check out my podcast. It's called Simply Do the Work. You can search it up wherever you look for podcasts, but I'll also leave a link in the description. It's also available also on YouTube. So you can also, on my YouTube channel, there is a tab for podcasts where you can listen to the podcast episode when it's out. So yeah, I think I've yapped enough for today. Thank you so much once again. Until you guys see me or hear from me on the podcast, I love you so much. Bye.